So I am Cherie.
I'm Chris.
And we are your host here at the Mobile Internet Resource Center and your MIA, whatever we are.
Yeah, the group, the Facebook, everything on. You guys are our members that make all of this possible, and that's why we were having kind of a special, not regularly scheduled webinar to go over a topic for tonight.
So back in, I think it was either our March or our April webinar, we did the topic of selecting cellular data plans and how to choose the right mix of plans for your personal needs on the road. And if you haven't seen that webinar, I do encourage you to go back, especially if you're in the research phase or you need to update your mobile internet plans. It gives you a lot more information. But one of the tips that we shared there is that you should reevaluate your cellular data plans like every so often.
At least once a year.
At least once a year, especially if mobile internet is really important to you, because the plans are changing so often. The carriers are constantly offering better deals.
And worse deals.
Or worse deals, true.
Yes.
Better pricing and things like that. So you might be paying more than you want to be. So it's really a good idea to go back and just reevaluate all your plans every so often.
Yeah.
But the other trick that we shared with you there was, and that's one of the reasons we created the MIA and the whole website, is if you keep on top of the deals that are constantly coming out, you can snag them, and that's how you assemble a really awesome internet setup. Over the years of hosting the site, I think our total internet costs for each plan, we have unlimited data plans on each carrier. We're paying like $120 a month for unlimited on each of the carriers. That's inclusive of all of them. So in order to assemble that, that really requires staying on top of the deals and snagging them when available, because we all know a deal comes and they go away.
But often they're grandfathered in. So if you get it at the right time, it becomes something that you can hold on to potentially indefinitely. And those are the best things to get.
Now, at the beginning of the year, all of the carriers launched new unlimited data plans, of course, with a lot of caveats. We've been using the quotes around the word unlimited. Yes. We've all gotten used to that. We just like unlimited has a new definition.
Yes.
Like it or not.
but it's not nearly as bad as some people think. They're like, oh my God, there's limits. But it's actually, these are pretty decent unlimited plans if you just know how to work around what those particular limits are.
So, but in the last month or so, we have really started to see the carriers readjust their unlimited plans even for the beginning of the year. And a lot of it is from competitive pressure or realizing the cost of delivering unlimited data in today's economy.
Yeah, so some of the carriers were offering deals that were too good to be true to win customers over. And I think they're starting to realize that they won some of the customers over that they don't really want, which is us, high data users.
So you do have to keep in mind, none of the carriers want to be a home internet replacement at this time. They want people who live in homes to still have their cable, their DSL, or other options online. Those of us that are mobile, however,
it's hard to get a DSL line to a moving RV.
So cellular really is our mobile internet source, our primary home internet connection, and sometimes our office connection. And the plans aren't designed for us, and that's why we're here to help you guys navigate through that. So what we want to do is we want to recap what the unlimited plans that each of the 4 carriers are currently offering, and kind of recap what the most recent changes are for each, as well as what our top data picks are for each.
And a few guesses as to what might be happening next.
All right. We're going to start with the least useful plan, which is currently Sprint.
Right. So Sprint is so desperate for customers that they are actually giving service away, unlimited service for a year for free if you sign up and bring your own qualifying device. And we've just been able to confirm they've extended that offer. I think they first started it
It was in June, and currently they have it expiring at the end of October. We've seen them extend it every month.
Mm-hmm. You have to jump through some hoops. You have to have a Sprint compatible phone, which a lot of Verizon phones are, but a lot of others aren't. But you can actually activate it on Sprint and get a year's of unlimited service. You just paid basically the taxes and fees and stuff, just a couple dollars a month. But it's Sprint.
All right, so the terms of Sprint's plan is they are offering 10 gigabytes of high-speed mobile hotspot use before you are throttled down for hotspot use only. On device, it is unlimited, subject to network management at 23 gigabytes per month. The plan does include HD video streaming. They, however, do not offer a data-only device. So you cannot put it on a mobile hotspot device.
And Sprint, unlike other carriers, your SIM is basically locked to whatever device is in their system, so you can't move the SIM cards around easily like you can do with a lot of other carriers and stuff. So Sprint, don't even think you can swap the SIM around.
The only change we've seen on the Sprint plan since they rejiggered them at the beginning of the year was offering that free year of unlimited. They have offered all sorts of promotions all year around, even for new customers buying new phones, getting the plans down to pretty darn cheap. So they are the best dollar per deal, but they are still the worst coverage for RVers.
And just frustrating to deal with in general. So keep it. If you want Sprint, sometimes the better way to get Sprint is going through the basically what we call the nonprofit plans. These third-party companies that are nonprofits that have old contracts with Sprint that Sprint probably doesn't wish they still had, that let them offer hotspots to their members with unlimited data really, really cheap. And that's actually pretty interesting.
Yep. If you're low income, there's a couple of organizations that are offering plans for as cheap as $10 per month. You do end up paying several months in advance, sometimes up to a year. For those that don't qualify for low income, the cheapest one right now is 4G Community. That one comes out to as little as $14 per month. However, last check, their website is not currently accepting new customers.
Right. We've heard some people who have been able to get in by emailing them, but they're still kind of in this limbo as they're waiting to relaunch, waiting to see what changes might be coming from Sprint because they're thinking things might be about to change.
And Calyx is still offering them. They are the most expensive. That comes up to $30 per month. And this is an unlimited, dedicated mobile hotspot plan. So if you want Sprint in your arsenal, that is our current best pick.
Yep.
All right, let's move along to T-Mobile. They currently offer 3 different unlimited data plans, which they are the carrier. They're the ones who started this whole thing, and they try to do it simple. In my opinion, they've gotten
more complicated.
They have the most complex unlimited data plans to understand, I think. So they have 3 levels of unlimited data plans. The first one is called One.
Right, because it's the one plan they offer.
Out of 3.
All right. Then they have One Plus and One Plus International.
So be careful when you're shopping up to make sure that this plan will meet your needs. On One, you get 3G mobile hotspot on it. It is unlimited on device, and you only get you get 3G mobile hotspot unlimited in the U.S. and all video is reduced to 420p or DVD
480p.
quality. 480p. Sorry, I wrote it down wrong. 480p, which is equivalent to DVD quality. One Plus, which is for an extra $10 per month, gets you 10 gigabytes of 4G mobile hotspot use before you're reduced down to 3G speeds, and you get HD video streaming. And then there's One Plus International, which is an extra $25 per month on top of the One plan, not One Plus. That one gets you unlimited 4G mobile hotspot use with some caveats. They do their mobile hotspot use is always deprioritized over on-device usage, but they guarantee it to be at least half the speed. However, they do have this caveat because they don't want to be a home internet replacement. They have the caveat that if you use more than 50 gigabytes of data in a month, if more than 50% of that usage is mobile hotspot use, they reserve the right to have a conversation with you. We do not know what that means. We have not seen anyone actually impacted by it yet.
But it's basically they're keeping people on notice of saying, hey, don't get a phone with this plan, stick it in your data center and go to town running servers and stuff like that. They haven't cracked down, but they're letting people know it can happen.
Okay. And that is our top, if you want to go direct to T-Mobile, that is currently our top pick plan. Now on T-Mobile, they do not offer an unlimited data plan on a dedicated mobile hotspot device. It is only on their smartphones and tablets. If you want it on a hotspot device, they sell tiered data plans, or you have to go to a third-party carrier like Millennicom, which does sell mobile hotspot plans.
That use T-Mobile behind the scenes.
Right. Now, T-Mobile has had a lot of changes in the last month or so. The first was in August. They introduced their 55 plus plan for seniors. Basically, it's those same exact plans I just described, but you get a $20 per month discount.
Makes them really cheap.
Really affordable. That's a great plan. And we're seeing a lot of boomers moving to that plan because T-Mobile is the carrier to be watching as far as coverage expansion right now.
The other one is they're now giving Netflix for free to all customers who have a T-Mobile One plan with a regular T-Mobile One plan. So they're saying that the 55 and over customers, well, you're already getting such an incredible deal, we can't afford to pay your Netflix each month. But for regular T-Mobile One plan customers, they're paying your Netflix bill. You get basically a credit from T-Mobile on your Netflix bill that will bring it down to zero if you're using just the basic regular Netflix at HD level plan.
And they are including, Netflix is increasing their prices up to $10.99 a month, and they are going to be covering that cost as well. However, you do have to have at least 2 lines on your account with T-Mobile to qualify for that.
That's the big catch.
And it does not apply to their legacy plans either.
Right.
All right, so they also just recently increased their network management threshold. They used to be at 32 gigabytes. And every quarter, T-Mobile looks at what the top 3% of their customers are using, and they adjust their network management threshold. They're the only carrier that does that. And they just increased theirs to 50 gigabytes a month.
Right,
that is double what any other carrier
so the other
offers.
carriers are 22 and 23 gigabytes. So I think T-Mobile just decided to jump ahead and be able to claim they're double everybody else right now.
But the big change that T-Mobile just implemented this past week is they also had the most lenient Mobile Without Borders program, which gives you basically full use of your plan when you're in Canada and Mexico.
Including unlimited data and all the other perks that you had.
So now on One and One Plus and all of their legacy plans, so any plan that you had with T-Mobile that included Mobile Without Borders, you only get 5 gigabytes of international use when you're in Canada and Mexico at high speed.
Per month.
And that's on device or mobile hotspot use.
Your phone calls and texts are still free and included and all that, but they're just putting a cap on basically how much they're paying in roaming fees to these carriers north and south of the border.
However, if you have that One Plus international plan, and previously the international part of it didn't really mean much, but now it does.
Right.
You still get unlimited 4G use in Canada and Mexico, and you're all around the rest of the world where T-Mobile has partnerships, you get 3G use. So if you're going to Canada or Mexico for any length of time, upgrading for that $25 extra per month is well worth it to go from 5 gigabytes to unlimited.
Mm-hmm. It's a better deal than Canadians or Mexicans can get natively in their local carrier. So we know Canadians who get T-Mobile plans down here just to try to sneak up top.
Now, the caveat with that, however, is T-Mobile does have a clause, and we have seen them start to enforce this one, is if more than 50% of your usage over a 2-month period is in Canada or Mexico, they are cutting people off now. They are actually just terminating your plan.
And that's where one of the secret tips for Canadians was we always steer them towards Millennicom, because Millennicom has got the T-Mobile plan behind the scenes that is international, has the Canadian-Mexican roaming, but they don't enforce that limit. So you can be in Canada for as long as you want with Millennicom. So we know several snowbirds who use it seasonally and have not had any issues so far.
And we've also advised some Canadians to get the plan because Millennicom will ship to Canada and use it as local coverage in Canada.
Yes.
Don't do it too often, but it works.
Now, there's one other thing on the T-Mobile front is a lot of rumors swirling of T-Mobile and Sprint may be on the verge of merging. Actually, the news might be even announced this coming week based on some of the latest rumors. If they announce the merger, it's going to still take almost potentially up to a year for that to get approved by the government, for the shareholders to approve it and everything. So there will be no immediate changes to the plans and stuff other than the CEOs of Sprint and T-Mobile will probably stop bad-mouthing each other on Twitter.
They already kind of have.
They already kind of have.
John Legere has not been bashing Sprint publicly as often.
Yes. So there's very likely, this is very real possibility that this might happen. It's going to take a long time. When the news happens, we'll be covering it extensively. But no immediate impacts. Any plans you have will likely be grandfathered, and hopefully the combined company will be more T-Mobile than Sprint, because T-Mobile does basically everything right and Sprint does everything wrong. So yes.
Hopefully we'll see.
Okay.
We are tracking it. We do have an active thread going on the special announcements forums for you members, where Chris has done a little bit of pre-analysis on what's going on there. Yep. All right, Verizon. Their new unlimited data plans, which are now called Beyond Unlimited carriers.
That was the crazy names.
Okay, so when they announced it in February, it was originally 10 gigabytes of high-speed mobile hotspot use. They just upped that in August to 15 gigabytes of high-speed mobile hotspot use, and this is per line.
Yep.
And they do allow you to add a jetpack or a mobile hotspot device to that line for $20 per month without even going to multi-line. But it is also subject to that 15 gigabytes high-speed mobile hotspot use.
And people were excited for a long time that Verizon wasn't enforcing that cap but now they are on both phones and on hotspots. Once you get 15 gigs, once you've used 15 gigs, the connection will slow down to 600 kilobits per second, which was okay for surfing a little bit, and you can stream in super low res and stuff, but it will feel very painful once you hit that 15 gig cap with these plans.
But for a smartphone plan, it's a really incredible plan. It's just for those of us that want a home internet replacement. 15 gigabytes doesn't go very far these days anymore. Right. So, but it can be a great complement to your whole mobile internet arsenal, especially because they do allow video streaming. Now, on a smartphone, it is capped at 720p, which is still HD.
Right. So what Verizon is doing behind the scenes is they're throttling video connections. So they're trying to detect video connections, and they're throttling the speeds of them. So on a smartphone, it's getting throttled to about 4 megabits per second, which on a Netflix will drop you down to about 720p. But on hotspots and PCs and anything that's connected and tethered, you get 10 megabits per second, which is enough for 1080p. You're not going to get Ultra HD, but you can get good, solid, great HD picture at 10 megabits per second. So that's what they're enforcing behind the scenes. And the catch with this is when they rolled out this video throttling, they actually rolled this out impacting all legacy Verizon plans, including the grandfather unlimited plan. And we've been able to test and confirm this.
It is being throttled to those speeds.
Yeah.
It's not all that bad unless you want HD. If you're used to your 4K,
Ultra HD,
Ultra HD, it's a problem. But 720 to 1080p is still. It's not roughing it. It's not luxury, but it's not roughing it.
Yeah, we stream every night in 1080p on our grandfathered Verizon Unlimited plan. And the one thing that was a little bit harrowing about this is the first change in history that Verizon has applied backdated to these grandfathered unlimited plans.
And I don't think it's specifically that it's backdated. I think it's that they just did system-wide. They're just doing across-the-board throttling. And it's a lot easier to apply it to all traffic than try to isolate one stream of traffic. So I don't think they targeted the grandfathered plans. I just think it's like, well, we're going to have this, and it's easier to do it for all traffic. Now, our top pick, like I said, the smartphone plans, the Beyond Unlimited plan, is a really good plan for a smartphone plan. And it's great for your around town, going out exploring, sort of stuff. It's great as a backup internet option for getting laptops and stuff online.
And if you have an HDMI out and you don't mind 720p resolution, it's great for hooking up your phone to a big screen and using it to stream that way, unlimited.
But we still recommend the grandfather unlimited data plan. Obtaining one of those if you really want a Verizon unlimited option as your primary internet connection on the road. If you need more than that 15 gigabytes or what can be provided by your family plans on there, it's still worthwhile going and getting those. We haven't had any reports of vendor terminations in a couple of months. That kind of scares me. And we haven't seen any moves lately for Verizon cracking down on in-contract owned or AOL unlimited data plans. AOLs are still going through, rentals are still going through, and contract extensions are still going through at this time. So we still feel that they're a good gamble. Just there's always that risk that they could go away at any time, though. For updates on who's providing what, if you want an AOL, if you want to do it your own, you can still find the plans on eBay or from friends, other MIA members, but the process to jump through the AOL process is gotten trickier and needs a lot more tenacity than it ever has in the past.
We've heard 6-7 phone calls required sometimes, so it's just knowing when to hang up and try again to get the right rep, basically.
And one of the tricks we heard from one of our members was when you first get on the phone with the AOL rep, it says, "Hey, have you AOL'd a grandfathered unlimited data plan recently?" If they say yes, well, then you want to go with that vendor.
If they say, "What are you talking about?" You'd be like, "Oh, I'm static on the line. I'll call back." Click.
And try again. If you want someone to walk you through the process and guarantee it, Jason has been our top recommended vendor for many years at this point. However, he is currently pursuing other opportunities and has been unresponsive for the past couple of months. He says he might be able to, he's trying to work out getting some assistance. He might be coming back. We're hoping so.
Right.
But I did talk with Luke Dalen, who is also partnered with the Full-Time Families, and he still is assisting with these, and he is charging the same price now that Jason was, which is $9.95, and that ends up with a $45 per month in contract line with direct with Verizon. So Luke is an option, and he has great feedback from the Full-Time Families group. If you want a rental, there are still rental vendors out there in the guide to our Verizon Unlimited data plans, which you can find in the Resource Center. There are some rental vendors. We have checked in with all of the ones on our list that they are still in business.
Mm-hmm.
We just signed a new one on. I think it was called Timbuktu Wireless. They just contacted us. We have absolutely no feedback on them
yet. Yeah.
But they are charging $135 a month, and that is the best deal, and no caps, no throttling on that one. So that is the best deal we know of right now if you're willing to take a gamble on it. Okay, now we get into the
AT&T is shaking things up right now.
The breaking news one is AT&T.
So previously, AT&T was the best deal in mobile in that if you added an AT&T hotspot like Unite Explorer onto the AT&T's unlimited plans, you would get real unlimited data on that hotspot. They weren't putting the 15 gigabyte cap like Verizon was. And like ours, I think we're up to about 300 gigs this month. It's wow, amazing. You're getting unlimited data on a hotspot with an official non-grandfathered, non-old, non-jump through hoops plan straight from a carrier. But that seems to be changing now. So AT&T has kind of put people on notice by adding a notice on their bills in the fine print saying hotspots and mobile home internet service will not be eligible lines for the unlimited plans starting at December 5th. That's all people know right now.
So we are tracking several forums where people are discussing this. There are some AT&T reps who have chimed in and said they have not been informed of this policy change, and they have no information to share
about what this means in a deeper fashion.
We have written to 5 different PR contacts at AT&T. Not a single one of them is returning emails or calls. So they are basically, the best we can tell is they are still debating this internally as to what it means or how it's going to be implemented. We have heard rumors that there's going to be a replacement plan for mobile hotspot devices, that it might become a new department within AT&T. We have heard varied reports that if you have one on your account now, it will be grandfathered in when this new policy kicks in. It's just not going to be new activated devices. We have heard that internally, AT&T representatives have been notified that the wireless internet and phone devices, so those home bases,
right, AT&T home base
on the Unlimited Plus plan, they'll discontinue activating new ones of those as early as the 27th of this month, but they will be grandfathered in. So that's very interesting. So there's a lot of confusion on this, but two things that there's two other, now you have to keep in mind, AT&T is complicated. They have so many different departments.
They are the definition of a company that the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. That is AT&T's corporate motto. And so now they're kind of like, you sent out a notice on the bills. What does this mean? And they're having that conversation internally.
So this announcement only applies to Unlimited Plus and Unlimited Choice plans, which are part of AT&T Wireless. Now, a lot of questions have been coming in. What about the Mobley device, which was that
car?
Well, no, it wasn't.
Well,
this is where it gets confusing. Mobley is that little diagnostic device that does a Wi-Fi hotspot for your car. There are 2 ways to activate it. One is on the connected car plan, and that's what the different department in AT&T, and that one was allowing you to have a $20 per month unlimited plan that was standalone. You did not need any other AT&T account to add it onto. That's separate. You can also activate that same Mobley device on an Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Choice plan
as an additional line to your voice lines.
We don't recommend that because the Unite Explorer is a much better device than the Mobley. The Mobley's only advantage is that you can activate it as a standalone plan. If you have an Unlimited Plus plan with AT&T, we recommend going all in and getting a real hotspot with antenna ports, carrier aggregation,
better performance across the board.
And better future proofing.
Yeah.
The Mobley is an antiquated, older device that gives you limited options.
Right.
So there's that. And then there's also the home base device, which is technically part of AT&T's wireless home service, which is designed for, and that's what some of you guys, what we walked you through earlier this year, activating on the rural plan, which is that 250 or 500 gigabyte plan. That plan is not in question at this point. That plan is solid right now.
Right.
No rumors of that discontinuing. And in fact, we've heard that you can still sign up for it if you have one of those rural zip codes.
Right.
We don't know what those zip codes are, but if you have one, you can activate it there.
Mm-hmm.
So all that this impacts is activating, all they said is mobile hotspot devices and those home-based devices on Unlimited Plus and Unlimited Choice.
Right. So if you're adding either of those devices to one of their voice plans, so they're just becoming an additional line, not their own standalone things, that's what they're going to stop December 5th.
Or actually the mobile-based, and now that
we've heard it's even sooner. Yes.
The 10 is the 27th of this month.
Right.
Now, this is the big question, and what we're waiting for confirmation on is if you have one on your plan now, will it be grandfathered in after December? We're hoping so. AT&T has no history of not grandfathering in older plans.
So could be a very smart bet now. If you have an AT&T voice line, get a hotspot line added. It's $20 a month if you've already got on the multi-line plan. So an additional $20 a month is not a lot to spend right now. No long-term commitments if you have a hotspot that is eligible. And that might be grandfathering you into an unlimited hotspot, which is a wonderful thing to have. Get that locked in before, the sooner the better, just in case they lock it down even sooner.
There is some risk though, like if you go ahead and get the 2-year contract and get it for like $50 from AT&T.
Buy discounted.
Because we don't know. They have not said that they are definitely grandfathering in the plan. So we're waiting for confirmation on that. So there is some risk that if they decide not to grandfather the plans in, that there could be some messy stuff coming up.
The way it generally works is if they make changes that you do not agree with, that gives you the reason to cancel the contract without paying the early termination. In which case, then you've got a $200 hotspot for $50. Well, yeah, you get to walk away with a hotspot that you can jump through hoops and get unlocked, and it actually works great as a T-Mobile hotspot as well. But there's confusion and hoops, and you might need to be an angry customer, and depends what policies they implement. So it is a bit of a gamble if you want to go and spend the either $200 or $50 with a contract to try and buy a hotspot directly from AT&T. But it could be a smart gamble, in which case you might be locking yourself in with an unlimited plan.
Or you can go get the Unite Explorer through a third party. Like Mr. Aberthan is one that we recommend that a lot of members have used, and he'll sell you an unlocked one at a discounted price. And then if for some reason it doesn't work on an AT&T, you can activate it on T-Mobile, even using it like with that a Millennicom-based plan.
Right.
It won't have the 600 megahertz, but it has band 12.
Yeah, it's a very good hotspot on T-Mobile right now.
So we are kind of leaning you guys towards considering locking in, if you haven't already, one of these plans if you have an Unlimited Plus account on AT&T. It is a plan that may soon be going away. We don't know what is coming up. Mm-hmm. And our advice could change in 2 weeks if we hear anything else. Because
AT&T might be saying, like, hey, wait, Verizon's got a 15 gig cap. Maybe we should do that too. There's no reason we should be giving people infinite data on these hotspots, and maybe they'll start doing their hotspots like Verizon does, because AT&T likes to copy Verizon sometimes. So that is a very, very real possibility there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that is the recap of the state of unlimited data plans right now. Just keep in mind, this stuff is always changing. And we will send out alerts when we hear anything. So this is where the archive will probably end. So thank you if you've been watching along.